Hey, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Korash. Double honors into my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing this word in truth. And in all sincerity, Shalom. Shalom to the sincere sisters that are tuning in as well. All right, Shalom to you all. I want to do this lesson, and Lord willingly is edifying. It just slipped my mind, but I was meditating on two things as well, two words. And Lord willing, it'll come back. Sincerity. Sincerity and fear, those two words. You want to be a sincere brother. In these times, sincerity will get you a lot further than pride. But that's wisdom. And like I said, Shalom to all this, all the sincere Akim. You want to be sincere in your actions, sincere in your intent. The scriptures say that the meek shall inherit the earth, right? So it's important to be as meek as you could possibly be. Getting meeker and meeker as the scriptures also say, the more greater thou art, the more humble thou shalt be. You understand? And that's the water Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai has come back to my mind. That's why I wanted to touch on something I was meditating on earlier. I'm only speaking like this, not from a boasting in any way, shape, or form, because that's irrelevant and it doesn't mean anything, From the first time I heard about this truth, I just wanted salvation, and same is the motivator and the priority in my actions unto this day. I just want salvation, man. The closer I get, the more serious you see it is, the more I realize how serious mercy is. So salvation is the motivator for me. That may not be for everybody. Some people have different intent, but that's neither here nor there. But I want to speak on when I started watching Great Millstone. I wasn't necessarily in the camp yet, but I was watching. And then as time went over, passed, I should say, I was in the camp, and a lot of these decrees, see now, now in 2023, right? Most of us are familiar with the decrees of 3 videos a week, so on and so forth. Those decrees, younger men, certain things that younger men have to do with older men. And because see, there's always, you're not the youngest forever. There's men that are coming in yearly. So a lot of decrees came out even when I can remember when I was on the outside, and that was around about 2011, 2012, right? one of them was, I remember Apostles was real big on men having their IDs, getting your driver's license. That was a major one. But as time has gone by, and maybe us men that have been around, now in our camp, I will say, I'm not saying, I just know because we try to maintain these standards. We try to make sure that the men in our camps all have their license, and it's all situated, IDs and so on and so forth, so I can't speak on other camps, but I'm just speaking on the fact that that was a decree of old. And I want to speak on the next decree that I remember the apostles speaking on, just to speak on it in the spirit of, which I'm going to get a scripture now that I'm parked. All right. All right. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. Elder Apostle Arumlab brought this out earlier in the videos, just speaking on different situations within Israel, This is 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. And it says, let all things be done decently and in order. And there's an order of things in this, like I said, when I was a babe in this, I'm talking about, when I mean a babe, like my first year, first few years in this, I went through the same motions as any man that's came in before me. When I first came in, there were certain things that I couldn't do, and there were certain things that I could do. Those responsibilities have changed as I've matured in my walk, and I've gained trust in the spirit. But one of those things was the apostles of old was big on us not being into all of this extra communication with the men in other states and other camps. And over time, things have changed a little bit. I guess I would say, this is one of the main things of change that have occurred is this ministry has gotten a lot bigger. When speaking of this, just the state of Georgia, I remember a time where it was just our camp in Atlanta, and it was there's a few brothers down, and the brothers, it was fewer down in Valdosta, down in South Georgia. This was years ago at this point. And, here we are today. It's, you got, Savannah, Valdosta, Albany, Columbus. We have multiple camps here, and that's just one example of the expansion of the ministry. And, it's beautiful. But as the scriptures say, let all things again be done decently and in order. So we got to maintain order, within our own camps, within our own regions, within the whole thing within the order of Israel, within the whole GMS body. There's an order of things on how you deal with brothers, how you deal with elders. When you have an elder statesman coming to town, we're learning how to deal with these protocols and so on and so forth, but dealing with the spirit of, and I say in the spirit, our camp, here in Atlanta, anybody listening to this, you already know this because, we're a camp where, we get a lot of visitors, we get a lot of visitors, a lot of visitors. And, So, I've been blessed in the spirit to, man, I almost feel like through the spirit I've almost met almost all the brothers of Great Millstone. Not all, but I've met a lot of men, from the north to the south, throughout the South, I should say, the Midwest, out west. You know what I'm saying? So the Midwest, like I said again, a lot of brothers, men, come here, whether it be for having family here, business reasons here, so on and so forth. That so again, I get to meet a lot of brothers, and I'm pretty sure this happens in other regions as well. But for all of us, we got to maintain communicational orders, and like I said, that was one of those decrees that came out, when I first came in. Just dealing with the communication as well. Like me, for instance, I have my own, rank, however you want to look at it, in my own church here in Atlanta. But even still, I'm not. It's still brothers that are elders that are over me, and there's certain things and certain motions that I don't do, that they can exercise, or whether they choose to or not, if that makes sense. Men may have my elders or my bishop, of my camp's numbers and so on and so forth, and communicate because there's a reasoning to it. There's a purpose to it. But for some of us, the communication can get a little, if it's just because of, matter of fact, let me get that. If it's just because of, you like a guy or whatever, that may not be that might not be enough of a reason, Give me 1 second. Let me look up let me see if I can. This is Philippians. Let's read this. Philippians 1:27. It says, only let your conversations be as it becometh the gospel of Mashiach Yahushua, that whether I come and see you or else be absent, I may hear of your affairs, that ye stand fast in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. Okay. As you see, only have your conversation, and it's just a matter of, like I like to say, and I say this here, I talk to brothers, if you talk to men in other camps more than you talk to your own men in your own camp, you got a problem, man. All right? You got a problem. All right? And through the spirit, and I'm just speaking on how I look at it, through the spirit, if you don't really got no rank in your camp, you really shouldn't even be talking to men in other camps, man. You shouldn't even be crossing state lines and talking to this brother over here and brother over there, and you here it is, you in Georgia, but you talking to men in New York, and you talking to men in Illinois, and like, what are you doing? And like I said, hey, this is, there's no law, there's no law against it, but you got to be mindful of all of our conversations and being that they're all in the spirit, that you are doing what is your responsibility. All right. Bear me 1 second. Bear me 1 second. I'm looking for. Let's see. Let's go to Philippians 3. in 10, and it says that I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering, being made conformable unto his death, if by any means I may obtain. No, that's not it. Let's just keep reading. And it says, not as though I have already obtained, neither were already perfect, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that from which also I have apprehended of Mashiach Yahushai. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward unto those things which are before, I press towards the mark of the prize of the high calling of Mashiach Yahushai. Let us therefore, as many as be perfect, be thus minded. And if any thing ye be otherwise minded, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai shall reveal these things unto you. See, verse 20. For our conversation is in heaven, for whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Mashiach Yahushai. So, I was looking for a precept, but I can't find it. But like I said, through the Spirit, I'm gonna close up here anyway. The scriptures speak about beware of murmuring, for it is unprofitable. We have to be mindful of these things, and I say this from not to just, cut men's, like, hey man, hey, I'm a brother. And, I'm not telling brothers to do nothing. I'm not exercising in my own, and I'm just edifying and, speaking on protecting your own selves. All right. You can end up talking to a man in another city, in another state, and you may not be spiritually strong enough. All right. To do certain things. And now you are in an uncomfortable predicament. Now the spotlight on you and you wondering why. Okay. See, a lot of times you could be talking to a man somewhere else and you don't know that he got a bad report with the brothers that's in his own camp. And he might start talking shit about those men to you. And you may not be spiritually strong enough to stop it. You may not be strong enough to rebuke it. You may not be strong enough to pass that on to the next brother and say, hey, I don't know, because you may not want to be seen or perceived a certain way. There's a lot of things that happen, and if you're not strong enough to do it, you shouldn't even be doing it, because this happens. All right. So in the spirit, you want to make sure that you are in order, protect your spot, keep it simple, stay in order. It's simple, man. Follow the brother that's right in front of you and lead the man that's right directly behind you, and just keep it simple. Stay in the pocket. The Lord got you in post here, and the Lord may have it where certain connections occur in the spirit. That's again, I'm not speaking to every situation and connection amongst brothers. I'm not speaking to that. What I am speaking to is specifically younger men. You in a camp, you in your first year, second year, third year, and you all into this extra, interstate communications, man. Like, that's not what this is about, man. We came here to serve, man, and serve our spots, our post, and that's the goal, man. So with that, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Kakorash, and until next time, shalom.